Good, Ray.
Yeah, and welcome to another episode of Bronx Heroes Live. What's going down, Chris? It's been a while since we spoke to each other. How you been? What's new in life?
Good.
Everything's good?
Yeah, everything's good.
That's awesome, man. What do you think about that Invincible show that everyone's been chirping about? Have you been caught up with any of that yet?
I'm caught up with all the episodes. It's been great. It's moving faster, different than the comic. It still has the grotesque features in the comic, but it's good to me. It's an adult cartoon,
right?
Not a manga cartoon, but it's an adult cartoon.
It has a manga feeling to it, though, a little bit, kind of. It has like this anime feeling to it a little bit.
Of course, it's manga inspired as far as.
Is that like a Korean cartoon, or is that made in Japan, or is that?
No, I believe it's Korean. I believe it's
Korean, right?
Yeah, they've been doing most of our cartoons. They're doing Justice League. I mean.
Oh, that's right. They are doing.
They've done Justice League. They've done the Superman, Batman cartoon. Every cartoon that actually comes out developed is done over in another country. It's not fully done in American soil, even though our company's doing it. So.
Isn't that interesting?
Our country. Yeah.
I think that's pretty wild. That Well,
a lot of American jobs have been taken away.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's all good, but I mean, at the same time, it's like you think about like industry. You think about like a lot how many artists are here, and it really comes down to union busting. I mean, there's so many artists even today, like still that are in the United States that don't have unions and they don't have any type of job protections, and that's kind of sad that we're still here in the 21st century without any basic job protections, where you just get railroaded as a creator. Artists are still at the bottom of the totem pole, if you really think about it,
Well, somebody just put up about creators, comic book writers and creators do not get the respect that novelists get. Right.
So true. So true.
And it's shockingly to hear something that a novelist would get more respect than a comic book creator. Exactly. But I don't know. I think over the past few years that's been changing. You got Bendis, you got Kirkman, you got Miller. Well, two Millers. You got Frank, and then you got Mark Miller. You got so many people that are
Millar, So.
Well, Millar, you're right. You got so many people that are respected as far as their movement in industry of creating comics. Exactly. And I think that as far as, even more, Alan Moore, you got to think about it. So many things were developed off of these people's ideas, Exactly. Even though Frank Miller did very bad on the RoboCop series.
Did he do the early 2000s one too? I wonder. Did he work on those 2000 ones or no?
I don't think so. I gotta look into.
I was trying to watch those. They have those on Amazon now, and they're like, I was like, this is so 90s, but bad, But it looks 90s. It's early 2000s, but it just has.
Those were, I think, the last of the series that was actually supposed to be on Channel 9. I think it was Channel 9. Yeah, and I guess they must have got the rights to it.
Yeah, it was something else. I was like, what is this nonsense?
Yeah, I tried watching it. I tried watching it myself, and I'm like, oh.
It's horrible. It's horrible. I was like, this is bad. What's going on with this thing here? It's like, I don't know.
But it's
like how they don't take, these companies make a lot of money on the first movie, and this is something you saw all the time in movies. And they cut the budget and not hire the same actor. And then try to, we'll make the second one for cheaper. And they think they're somehow in their minds, they think, if I put some bootleg actor that nobody ever heard of that replaces Peter Weller, who was great in the role. But somehow they're going to make the same amount of money and then fire the writer that made it successful, and they hire some crappy writer. You know, I don't understand that, but they did that with even Aliens went that way too, you know, and the Predator movies went that way too. Predator movies progressively got worse, and they haven't come out of that hole, where the comic books actually got better. I'd say, why don't they hire these comic book writers to,
well,
you know?
I mean, I look at it like this, that when it comes to certain franchise that you brought up, Alien, Aliens, great 2 films. Alien 3 started to go like this.
Well, it was supposed to be Alien Earth War. Originally, if you remember, the original teaser was Alien Earth War. And then they changed it because Sigourney Weaver put her 2 cents into it. She had so much control over it.
Well, that's with Alien 4.
Yeah. They went to Alien versus Predator with Sigourney, and she squashed it. She was like, "That's not happening. That's a stupid idea." But
I mean, I think Sigourney Weaver has some sort of money thing when it comes to the Alien thing. Period.
Yeah.
But
she has a creative control over it. Which is good. You want actors to have that, but then if you don't even read the materials, that, you know, it's just like Kathleen Kennedy. She's doing interviews telling people that with Star Wars they have to start from scratch because there's no comic books or novels or any source material like other Marvel films. And like, what are you talking about? There was a Star Wars comic book before there was a Star Wars movie, and people forget that, you know.
well, I mean, the new series that they got out, they got so much information that they could go on by comics. Right.
What do you think? The whole Disney Clone Wars stuff is all based on the novels, you know?
Yeah. Actually, even when Darth Vader becomes Darth Vader in the 3rd film was taken from another writer, because the other writer wrote the way Darth Vader became, you know, who he is. Right. George Lucas, to me, did not really have any focus on the characters.
He didn't.
After he
left
did the
other writers take over
on what happened to the characters after Return of the Jedi. Exactly. You know, everybody did so much work for him that he had so much information that he could fall back on.
Right. But yeah, like you were saying, it's just I don't know. Same thing with I would say the same thing with Terminator. I thought the last film was great. Like, not the last one. The one before last where they had the Game of Thrones girl and she's like jumping in, and they did like a mix of all the films. I thought that was cool. And then the Sarah Connor one I like a lot too, but that one kind of should have happened before this film. You know what I mean? Like Dark Fate, I felt like should have happened before Genesis. Dark Fate, I like Dark Fate. It was just as good, but it didn't really fit. It's like almost like they were doing like an alternate universe, you know?
Well, that's what they were doing. Everybody's getting into that multi-universe, and I think everybody needs to stop. It's getting kind of tired. You know, it's like, okay, we got so many James Bonds because it was a different James Bond in every universe. So but like Sean Connery's James Bond is not the same James Bond. You know,
it's not. I always thought it was the same James Bond.
No, it is the same James Bond. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, you might as well say, okay, Daniel Craig is blonde. Sean Connery is not blonde.
Right.
So, you know, we got a different universe of every James Bond out there. So it's kind of.
Well, I thought the 00 thing, actually the best James Bond is not James Bond. There was a comic book called Velvet by, what's his name? Ed Brubaker. Did you read that series?
No.
And it was basically Mrs. Moneypenny had to rescue James Bond. But it wasn't James Bond. It was basically a James Bond comic book. It had all those elements of James Bond, and you could tell he wanted to write a James Bond story, but he just. Oh, you got to look it up. Go to readallcomics.com. You can read the whole series. It's like 12 issues.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't.
That's the best James Bond story for me. It's even better than the James Bond comic that IDW is putting out.
I
That's like,
don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't like any comic books done after a character was already created for a novelization afterwards. I haven't seen anything that was really done really well. Like, for instance, for me to read a Batman novel or a Superman novel, it doesn't register in my head as
right,
the character.
right.
You know, I think reading the comic book and watching a film is way better to understand a comic book character. But when you're reading novelizations, it's like too much going on and here and there, and you're trying to get your imagination to feed into, okay, I know what the character looks like.
Right.
Just doesn't work with me. It's almost like that daggone Lois and Superman story that's on channel 11. I can't get.
Out of all the CW shows, though, I gotta say it's the best written, though, because the other ones are kind of quirky and light and funny, and this is like this one's intended for family audience with teenagers, and it's almost going like Riverdale. And I actually stopped watching Riverdale. I couldn't keep up with it because it got too shallow. I liked it in the beginning because it was like Twin Peaks meets Heathers, and it didn't hold my interest because it just went. It didn't have a focus to me.
Well, you know? My opinion on that, I gotta disagree with you.
Really, you like the Riverdale show?
No. I'm talking about the Superman and Lois.
Oh, okay.
It's look, we already had what's that movie that came out with the bad Superman?
You gotta remember though that this continues from the Crisis on Infinite Earths series. Did you see those last year with all
this is a different Superman.
So he went back to his time and he had a baby, but when he came back, he had time change and then he had two teenagers.
He had two teenagers.
Yeah.
But my problem with the show is this. One, Captain Luthor is now black. Okay, Lex Luthor is now black.
He's from a different universe, though. He's a different universe.
I understand that. That's why I'm taught multi-universe. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe that there's another Chris out there somewhere. Okay.
Like there definitely is, according to Einstein and you know, string theory. You know, and Stephen Hawking.
Too much.
And so you guys are layered. You guys are layered. One Chris is doing exactly the same thing that the other Chris is doing, except there's some decisions you make, he makes a left turn instead of you making a right turn. So theoretically, it does exist, you know, just like time travel. You know, like Einstein believed time travel existed, but it only existed in the mind. You can time travel mentally, but not physically.
You know? I mean, I just look at it like this, that it's just too much.
Yeah, it gets tiring. Just like all these other shows are like pseudo Justice League, evil Justice League, like The Boys. That was kind of like a ripoff of Watchmen, I felt. You know.
But you also got to look at it like this. When you're looking at these characters, when you're looking at these characters, of course we know which one is the Superman, which one is the Wonder Woman, which one is the Flash, all that stuff. The thing is the way you write each character's development within inside that story, even though we know who they are.
Right.
The subject when it comes to Superman himself, these are the characters that the iconic characters are the characters that you leave alone.
Right.
You leave alone. You develop a story arc with them on their own, but you cannot take a chapter, a piece of that character, and spread him thin into this direction and spread another one in this direction. Because of the fact is that this character is iconic. This character was created by people that the way they develop the character should stay as it's developed. You can't take Batman and change Bruce Wayne. You can't take Clark and change Clark Kal-El. And the writers today seem to feel that we can do that. And who cares who the creators were? We don't care about them. They're not here. They're in their graves. They don't have to worry about anything. And I just look at it like this. If I create a character, or if you create a character, they should not take that character, destroy the ground of that character, and make it their own.
True. Yeah.
So
yeah, but everyone kind of does. I did that in '93 with the World Without Superheroes. All right, Gary's here. Let's throw him into the mix, and he's a writer. We'll see what he has to say about it.
Okay.
Hey, Gary,
how you doing?
I'm good.
I just caught the tail end of that. I don't know why I'm so red, but I'm red. Notice.
I know. Everyone's got a Bronx Heroes shirt except for me. Mannequin's got the heavy traffic shirt on.
I don't know exactly where that was going or coming from, but
the
fact of the matter is, as somebody who has created things for DC, they own whatever they own, and they can do whatever they want with it. So there's a famous story about Faulkner being interviewed, and the interviewer says to him, well, what do you think about these movies that ruin your books, that destroy your books? And he says, they're not destroyed. Here they are on my shelf right here. And I made my money from the movies being made. And if anybody wants to see what I wrote, here it is.
Right.
And my only complaint is that I haven't made much money from these things. If DC had produced a Blue Devil TV show that made me, whatever Black Lightning has been making Tony Isabella, I'd be fine with it.
Right. Well, they were close.
I would want it to be close. When Blue Devil showed up in Swamp Thing, I was kind of disappointed. And that my total take for my share between Dan and Paris and me for those 10 episodes that had Dan Cassidy and then Blue Devil in the last one was $780.
Are you kidding me? That's it?
Well, yeah.
Times four.
So if it had been $78,000, I would have liked their version much better than I did. I would have thought their version was just fine. Sure, but
that's terrible. So it's $740 times 4, though, right?
No, $780 times 4.
Yeah, but still, it's a little. Yeah.
The artist, because Paris was the only artist. The way DC's royalty work is whatever the percentage is and however they figure it, whatever the total creator royalty is, artist gets half, writer gets half.
What about Cooperberg? Does he get anything? That artist or is he a writer?
He's not alive.
Oh, he's not alive. Oh,
Alan.
Right. Oh,
but no, he wasn't a creator.
No, he wasn't.
The deal is only for the creators.
I see.
So the writer share was split between me and Dan. Oh. So Paris's share must have been about $1,500, $1,600, somewhere.
I see.
And so, which breaks down to, I don't think the character was in every one of the 10 episodes. I think he was in
seven. He was in 4. He was in 4 of the episodes.
More than that.
Or 6. But
Ian Ziering as Dan Cassidy, I think he was in like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
And then the last one where he turns into what's supposed to be Blue Devil, and it's just the big blue demon. And I was staring at the TV. I was with a couple of friends of mine watching on this big screen that this one guy has. And I'm saying, put the mask on. Put the mask on. He doesn't put the mask on. If he pulled on the mask and then transformed, that would have been fine. But because it got the mask, and then he leaves it. Right? He leaves it when he goes. He leaves it. So, and then at the very end of that episode, when Jason Woodrue turns into the Floronic Man. I know that they built 2 costumes. I know that they spent over $100,000 per costume, and yet they looked exactly the same except for minor details.
I haven't seen this, so now I'm going to go on my my HBO and try to see if they have it on there. I'm going to look at this.
They should.
It's on. It was on CW.
But HBO Max has all the CW shows now on there.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have everything.
By the way, Chris, welcome aboard. We have a long delayed comic book that we're ready to go on.
I know. I'm actually excited about Nemesis. I'm very.
Have you both read the 2 plots? Chris, have you read the plot so far? The new one?
Yeah, I got the script.
Did you send me? You sent me issue 3? Or no?
You said.
Yeah.
You said this is really two issues, and I said you're right, and I broke it into 2.
Oh, okay. Yes, and I reprinted it. Yes.
When you look at this, the red is whatever I changed.
Right.
And the green is my instructions to you, and my telling you the stuff that's going to happen in the story, but we're not letting on about it yet.
Right.
So it's the green is just me talking to you.
Right.
And then you guys break it down. You know, it's Marvel style, right?
Right.
I've got a lot of dialogue suggestions about the kinds of things that they're saying to each other. Right. But once you do the art, I take that and what I wrote, just like we did on the first one, and I make it fit. You know, these are the sorts of things they need to be saying to each other, but it's not the exact dialogue until I see the art. And then some of that might become exact dialogue, but maybe not. You get to decide how many panels every page is and what the layout is, all that stuff. And then it comes back to me and I go, oh, look at the surprises. When you did the little Tinkerbells in that first one, I love that because that was nothing from me. That was just all you throwing them in. And so I gave them dialogue because they were adorable and they were hilarious and they had to be saying stuff.
Right.
Well, so, you want to take a look at Zeus?
Sure. Is it? It's basically his Zeus. Yes, from the first one.
Same one. Yeah, same one.
So let's see what he looks like.
Let me make Chris big so we could hold on.
It's a funny thing when I see myself talking here.
Yeah.
I realize I must have had some sort of nerve damage because I only talk out of this side of my mouth.
Oh my goodness!
And I watch and when I realize when I smile, only one side of my smile goes up. The other one just kind of stays there. I must have had some sort of nerve damage somewhere.
You can do like a little mouth exercises. You're on the big camera now, Chris.
Yeah. Your turn.
I'm coming on here right now. Give me a second.
Let's see. Okay, wait. I see a ruler. And
Spider Gwen. She's not in this comic.
Oh, that looks great. Yes.
Let me check. See something for me because he does look great, but he's got too much hair.
Oh yeah, he's the hair in the back. He should have more receding hair, but that looks really good though. That looks fantastic. I like the way you have him thrusting forward with the little curvy crackle in the back. And...
I'm remembering differently. No, it's fine. I was remembering your Zeus as being sort of bald, but he's not.
Yeah. No, he has a big forehead, but
yeah, he had a big forehead.
He had a big forehead with a widow's peak, but it's the same. He had a lot of hair.
So now, take the same guy and put him in a really snazzy business suit.
Right.
Because once he's in New York, he's a sharp dresser. He's got a $5,000 or a $10,000 designer suit.
Yeah.
But
I read all that. I read that.
But yeah, that is.
I'll be back. You guys can continue.
If you notice, push back there his.
Just raise his hairline a little
Yeah.
bit.
You see that? So I pushed back his head a bit.
Yes.
But you know, when I was doing it, I did some research, and I'm looking at statues of Zeus. I was looking at the statues, and I was like, you know, Peter O'Toole played Zeus, right? In Clash of the Titans.
No, it was Laurence Olivier.
Laurence Olivier. Okay. And I was just like thinking, like, you know, his hairstyle was like the way Zeus was in one of the statues, and I was like, wow, that's, you know, he looks like a character. You know, he just didn't have that. He just didn't have that massive form, you know, of for his body. You know, what we're thinking of Zeus.
Did Ray show you all the reference links that I'd sent him? The Temple of Zeus stuff? Because I sent him a whole bunch of files. Okay, so get my email address from Ray, and I'll send you directly all that stuff that I pulled offline about.
Okay.
And Ray, you're blonde.
I want to show you.
Yeah, I'm a blonde.
Is it true?
It's actually supposed to be. It's actually supposed to be silver, but it came out
blonde.
More than it's more blonde than silver. Yeah.
Are you having more fun now?
Not really.
There's an old like 1960s.
Let's stress because his hair is blonde now.
Yeah. There was a 1960s dye campaign where the catchphrase was, "Is it true blondes have more fun?" Mm-hmm. And now we've got.
When I was younger, yes.
Yeah.
Now it seems like more people are having fun with me than the other way around. They're like, "Hey, look at that guy! His platinum hair."
So this cat is sitting on my desk and staring at me as she always does at 8:00. That means that I have to step away for a minute and give her a snack.
No problem. Go ahead. Go feed the cat.
Come on.